In late October of 1976, as I sat with 36 air checks and applications for the position of news director, I found myself at a crossroads. While each applicant possessed exceptional talent that any major market program director would covet, I felt they leaned towards a more traditional news delivery style. Seeking a departure from the norm, I longed for a news director who could engage in conversations about current events over a casual coffee or breakfast, rather than simply announcing the news. Feeling the weight of my decision, Dave Conley and our friend Dave Hume entered my office that afternoon. Sensing my distress as they observed my demeanor, Dave Hume astutely remarked that I appeared downcast, with Dave Conley adding that I seemed to have lost my usual spark. Sharing my dilemma, I expressed my desire for a news director who could bring a fresh, conversational approach to the role. It was at this moment that Dave Conley suggested, quote, "You need the boot," unquote, and Dave Hume echoed, quote, "You need the black boot. Boyd R. Britton," unquote. The mention of Boyd R. Britton sparked a memory in my mind of his distinctive style from his time on KCBQ in San Diego and KIQQ-FM in LA. And I knew he was the missing piece I had been searching for. Upon connecting with Boyd and bringing him on board, I witnessed his unique approach come to life on the airwaves. Granting him full autonomy over the news department, I entrusted Boyd to lead 10Q's news coverage, and from that point on, I never doubted the quality of the news on the station. In a surprising turn of events, Boyd R. Britton later recruited our friend Dave Hume and crowned him with the name Cleat Dumpster and made him the sports director for 10Q. Together, they brought a fresh perspective and dynamic energy to the station's news and sports coverage. Here is Boyd R. Britton and the 10Q report on 10Q Radio, a testament to the transformative impact of embracing innovative and unconventional talent in the world of broadcasting.
Action. Doctors at Harvard General Hospital say they'll take job action Tuesday. What they usually mean by job action is a strike. A congressman who doesn't want the B-1 bomber built says President Carter's changing his mind and will probably okay the $25 billion plane project. The Department of Water and Power wins a delay in its court fight for the right to pump water out of the Owens Valley. Marquis Johnson of UCLA is drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks of the NBA. And an assembly committee thinks the pot law should be changed in California so you'd get a ticket, not if you just got busted with a lid, but if you got busted growing pot, as long as it was less than 3 plants.
We feel a deep sense of personal loss at the passing of Dr. Wernher von Braun, one of the world's outstanding pioneers in the field of space exploration. We consider it a privilege and an honor to have been able to work with him during these exciting years of man's conquest of space.
The scientist who, as much as anybody, put an American on the moon before anyone else got there, the man who put mankind on the road to the stars, died yesterday. Wernher von Braun was 65. He had cancer. He was not seen or heard from that much since the days when he helped NASA sell the idea of Saturn rockets to the moons and then built them, as he had done for the Army before with the Redstone missile project, as he had done in Germany as one of the dreamy young Raketen-Menschen who played with toy space engines and did all the mathematics that made spaceflight eventually plausible and then possible. Hitler perverted their dream to build vengeance weapons, the V-1 and 2 rockets, and men like von Braun took the credit and blame for their creations and the destructive purpose they served at that time. The cruelest thing you could say to von Braun was to twist his autobiographical title, I Aimed for the Stars, by adding, and hit London. Still, as ex-NASA administrator and astronaut David Scott pointed out, despite the blood and turmoil, von Braun's life served a cause that's going to dominate our future, if we have a future.
In the tradition of Newton and Einstein, he was a dreamer pursuing visions, and at the same time, a creative genius. He was a 20th century Columbus who pushed back the new frontiers of outer space, that enabled his adopted country to achieve a preeminence in space exploration.
It was unintentional, I guess, but it seems somehow appropriate that this day mankind paused in the midst of our next step on the road the late Werner von Braun mapped out for us.
NASA flight officials say a computer malfunction has caused a 24-hour delay in today's first manned test of the Space Shuttle Enterprise. The postponement was announced more than an hour after the shuttle had originally been scheduled to ride aloft atop a modified 747 jumbo jet. Shuttle program manager Deke Slayton said the problem was a major failure.
The final problem that got to us was computer number 3 was voted out by the other computers. We still do not know what that problem is, and we think we probably could have recycled to like 2 o'clock this afternoon, but elected not to.
The postponement came after more than 3 weeks of problem-filled delays in setting the launch date for this initial manned flight. Rob Navius, Edwards Air Force Base, California.
So the countdown is on hold on that temporarily. You know, as we talk about Werner von Braun and the Space Shuttle Enterprise and all that, you know who invented the countdown? It wasn't von Braun. It was a German film director, Fritz Lang, who used it way back in the 20s in a fantasy called Die Frau im Mond, the woman in the moon. He thought it was kind of a cheap movie shtick. Now it's the symbol of our age in a way. At the time, Fritz Lang said, just another one of my damn touches. Touched us all.
10, 9, 8, ignition. Main stage. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That's enough reality for the moment. The All Marimba edition, the 10Q report, with a graduation gross out for this Fractious Friday. The 10Q report. It's graduation time. All ready to get out and get it on, right? It's gonna cost you, and I don't mean later in life. I mean right now. Debbie explains.
If they told your high school graduating class in Los Angeles that they'd have to come up with $90,000 to graduate this year, what do you think the response would be? You can't say that on the radio. I've got news for you. It now costs an average of $300 to graduate from high school. And if you have an average graduating class of 300, well, add it up. Edgewood High School Student Council President Royce Blake collaborates the facts in West Covina.
It varies from about $300 to $400 average. And that's not counting if you have your all-night party or your graduation at, let's say, the Hollywood Bowl or something like that. Let me break it down slowly here. For the prom, you're talking about anywhere from $20 to $50 per couple per ticket. We paid $35 at our high school, and that included pictures and the dinner. Most schools don't do that, so you have to include pictures, and usually you go out afterwards for dinner. As far as cap and gowns for graduation, they're about $10 to $20. You have to add in your yearbook, your class rings, your announcements, all-night party tickets, things like that. It's according to where you go for your all-night party. That's another important thing. Really, the total cost all bears down on whether the senior class of your school had planned ahead with sales and fundraisers and cut down the total cost per student.
There's big money in graduations. And by the way, don't forget the cost of the corsage and the tux and the senior luncheon and the class pictures, which can really put you up in the $500 bracket if you've got a lot of doting relatives. For the 10Q report, this is Debbie Lowe.
Still, we pause with muted marimba here at the new 10Q, and since we once went through it too, we send these graduation thoughts to you.
Dear son, all teenagers are drunken dope addicts or blues sniffers. This created part of the basis for your generation's need to rebel against our society.
Watching television, and you didn't try to call me. We've been going steady for 6 weeks.
Can it be that it was all so simple then?
Out of college, money spent, see no future, see no rest. All the money's gone, nowhere to go. Graduation.
Okay, seniors, this is it. You're ready for the big leagues. Here comes your new coach right now, so shape up.
Good
dumpster with a maybe all maroon, but most definitely a Fractures Friday and a short snort on the business of sports. Goat time, the third jewel in the Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes. You know Seattle Slew's won, and what can I say? He done won the last two, done won 8 in a row, never been beat. No goats have ever come to the Belmont Park and done won the other 2 races and still come out winning. I think my man Seattle Slew and the man on his back is going to do it up special. He's a morning line, odds on 1 to 5 favorite. What means you's risking your $2 just to win 40 cents? Now that leaves lots of long shots if you're a loon man or you want to put your money on second best. Talking about second best, got to go to B Dusty Run with local man Sandy Holly on that goat's back. I sure hope you watch that. It's going to be run at 2:36 tomorrow. You can watch the 10Q and Seattle Slew too. Down with chalk players.
Right on. Good advice from Cleet, from Larry, from Debbie, and me, Boyd. Our best of luck in your life ahead, class of 77, and everybody else. The only thing I know about your future for sure is it'll be sunny at 77 tomorrow. And now, back to reality, which is already in progress.
Run away with the rock and roll circus and have a good time.